What is the most helpful and important life lesson you have learned so far? Don't depend on other people for happiness. Don't assume your happiness is going to look like anyone else's. Learn programming, because that gets you jobs. Think positive, be positive, smile. You know how growing up, you couldn't tolerate the douchey kids in school, but gritted your teeth and bore it because you always knew, well, they'll get what's coming to them, and they'll be the ones struggling later on when it matters, where my hard work and decency will make me successful. One of the hardest things to accept is that many of those kids will be successful and make it through life just fine. One guy who is a complete tool and full of himself is in the process of going to dental school. A set of twins who have always thought they are the shit currently help manage a club and are doing very well for themselves. It's the hardest pill I've had to swallow, knowing these people might never get their return on bad karma. The lesson to everyone here, quit focusing on these people and focus on your own happiness. Don't define your success and happiness compared to anyone else but your own definition of it. Forget about those other people and what they are doing. I'm happy with where I'm at now and where I'm going. And as hard as it was to shut out everyone else getting these things they seemingly don't deserve, that's all that matters. Be confident in who you are or change. If you live in the past, you'll only feel regret. If you live for the future, you'll only be anxious. Live in the present, for that is the only time you can take control of. Stop complaining. Do not go around helping everyone you can because you're a nice guy. If you continue to put others first, you are helping others improve who they are while you remain in the same spot. Work on yourself and then turn towards helping others. Not to give up on something you enjoy because you're afraid. I remember as a child being on a soccer teams throughout elementary school and being fairly good. I was kind of athletic and I had good coordination for a kid my age. I always played defense because I was afraid to be in the action, but whenever I would actually have to defend and get in on the action, everything else faded away, and I was just playing the sport, and most of the time I would be successful. Coaches would always try to get me to play a forward position because I was good at it the few times I played forward. I refused to believe that, though, because regardless of how well I played, I always felt like I sucked. People just lied to me to make me feel better, so I told my parents I didn't want to play anymore. I've always regretted quitting soccer. I loved playing, but I let my nerves get the best of me. I wish I could go back and keep myself from quitting. I'm still the same kid though, just older. Whenever I get invited to do something athletic, I always make an excuse because I'm afraid of being bad, even though I would love to play, and now I'm too old for it to be socially acceptable for me to be bad at throwing a football or shooting a basketball. I've just let myself get in the way of so many opportunities I've had. If you screw something up, admit it, ask for help, and move on. Trying to hide it will only age you and cause you too much grief. Speak up. Don't give up what you want most for what you want now. You care about yourself far more than anyone else, so you may as well do what makes you happy and not worry about if others judge you. Life isn't fair, no matter how much you want it to be. There isn't some spiritual referee that evens things out if you are a good person, so don't waste time whining. That's not fair. You're right, it's not. Suck it up and get on with your life. Don't owe anybody any money ever. Duck you, credit card, student and car loan debt. This June, I will be free from debt. Don't depend on other people for anything if you can do it yourself, but be gracious for their assistance if offered. Interesting study was done on how clothes influence how people treat you. In the study, for example, people almost never declined a simple request from someone wearing a fake uniform, but almost always said no to people in street clothes. Just thought this was pretty interesting. It takes more than talent. Make memories, not regrets. But a little love from others isn't wrong. Just make sure to be that person too. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Connections are what make you the big bucks, not a college degree. If you only get rejected 1% of the time, please get off Reddit and write a book. I will buy it, provided it is a reasonable price. You need to love yourself before you can truly love another. They can help you get there, but it's ultimately on you to be at peace with who you are. Then you can share it. Learn how to fall, ukemi. Whether through martial arts, parkour, or some other method when you need it badly and it will save your life. Source, I'm still alive. It's simple, but be honest. I know it's cliche, but it's really important. Hold on to your morals, because if you don't, even for a small period of time, to make something temporarily easier for yourself, you'll feel like shit. Don't lie to people you love. If you always tell the truth, you'll have nothing to feel guilty about and get a lot more sleep. Humans are social creatures. You will always, even if subconsciously, look to others for happiness. That every person you meet is going through their own struggles. Sometimes those struggles are easy to identify, and sometimes they aren't. You don't know a person's story just by looking at them. Being stingy with your compassion only makes for a hard heart, and a hard heart only makes for a difficult life. Don't burden anyone else with your happiness. It's yours to tend to and cultivate. Live life on your own terms. If you live it on someone else's, you will not be happy nor fulfilled, almost always. Don't take anything for granted, ever. 99% of the things we worry about never actually happen to us, i.e., hypochondriacs, social anxieties, rejection. Take care of yourself before anyone else. If you let someone become your life, when they leave you, your life is gone. Have a sense of urgency when it comes to work, and pay all your bills, and on time, and you'll have awesome credit at a young age. If you act like you know what you're doing, no one ever questions if you know what you're doing. If you act like you're supposed to be somewhere, everyone assumes you are, and no one questions you. People make stupid assumptions based solely on the clothes you wear. Stop looking at the clock while waiting for the workday to end. It only makes it go slower. One I learned on Reddit. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Don't sweat the petty things, and don't pet the sweaty things. Know what you want, and know how to ask for it. It seems like many people have a hard time identifying what they actually want. They can say what they don't want, but figuring out what you really want is hard. Always carry a knife and a handkerchief. Thanks, Dad. That advice has saved me more times than I can count. Life is short. Work smarter and harder. Don't ever trust anyone to do anything for you. They may say they will help you out, but if they don't feel like it at the time, they will turn a shoulder in your direction. Also, don't waste time waiting for something to happen. Do it for yourself. I don't follow that advice to this day, but it is probably the best I could give someone. Work it, make it, do it, makes us. Protective sex. My grandfather had a saying, love many, trust few, paddle your own canoe. If you're unhappy, you have to go out and do something about it. No one is going to do it for you, and you shouldn't expect them to. Choose your beliefs before your beliefs choose you. Figure out who you are and what your values are, and don't base them on what other people try and force upon you, and live according to these. Don't listen to people, be it family, friends, or SO, when they try and convince you otherwise. They'll try and get you to be someone you aren't, so they get what they want. Stand your ground. Don't be a dick. It really covers a lot. Want to make friends? Don't be a dick. Want to impress your boss? Don't be a dick. Want to get into a relationship? Don't be a dick. Everyone appreciates it when you aren't doing dickish behavior, like spreading rumors, taking credit for something you didn't do, treating waitstaff like inferiors. Life isn't fair, but it could be much worse. What if all the bad shit that happens to you is because you deserve it? Happiness isn't real unless it is shared. The measure of a man is not the number of times he gets knocked down, but the number of times he gets back up. Pain never lasts forever. There isn't always a redo button, and never make big decisions without thinking things all the way through. If you constantly treat someone like crap, they will go away. I found that out the hard way. The planet is fine. The people are ducked. If you aren't feeling well, eat something, pass some gas, and have a good shit. My dad. You are responsible for making the change that you want to see in yourself. Whatever you resist, persists. Think about it. Never eat shredded wheat. 50% of people are of below average intelligence. When I first heard this, I thought he meant it literally because it really works. A lot of physical discomfort comes from the digestive tract, but it works in other ways. One does not have control over what happens to them, but can control how they respond. Nothing will be given to you. You have to work hard for the things you want. Even then, you still might not get it. Eat something. Do something short-term that makes you feel good. Short-term good feelings are the first step toward long-term good feelings. This has become my motto. The only thing in life you can control is your actions and your responses. Don't take yourself too seriously. People are assholes and should not be trusted. You cannot change anyone else but yourself. Ever. It is okay to admit you're wrong. It is okay to not know. The most important relationship you'll ever have is with yourself. Learn to love yourself and you'll learn to love life. That you can't control your feelings, so don't feel guilty about them. Beware when anyone offers you anything for free. If want to become a parent, don't assume that just because you survived childhood, you know how to raise a kid. Take a parenting class and have a parenting strategy both you and your partner agree on before the kids come along. That more often than not, People don't care about you or what you do. They're perfectly happy to go about their daily lives. Never keep score in any relationship. The human brain constantly runs a program trying to predict problems before they happen, and then running multiple scenarios on how to fix the problem. No one can truly be content for long, because we're all busy problem solving. Knowing this helps me chill. Be true to yourself. Butthole is a one-way street. Money can't make me happy, but self-sufficiency gives me the freedom to share myself creatively without worrying about how I'm going to pay the bills. It gets better. You get less concerned with what people think of you. You become more patient and tolerant. You learn that you don't have to say everything you think. The power is yours. I am not a beautiful and unique snowflake. Pass some gas. Express your distress so that others know. There are people who love you, and while they may not like your stink, they will support and sympathize with you. You get what you give. Never judge a book by its cover. Don't assume and treat others and you wish to be treated. A smile goes a long way. I'd rather have sex with the one woman I love than have sex with many women. Yeah, some guys have lots of women, but I'm never lonely. Don't eat the yellow snow, or the brown snow, or the yellow snow. Speak out clearly once, and no doubt. Even if you hate your job, do it like it's your favorite thing in the world. You never know who your current manager and coworkers know. The earlier you come to grips with how little control you have over most of your life, the more you can appreciate and enjoy yourself in the moment. Never make the same mistake twice. Has worked well for me. Keep your weed in one bag. Have a good shit. Get rid of the waste in your life, both physical, mental, and emotional. If you let your shit pile up inside you, you'll go septic and then have some real problems. Being right isn't all that important. If you want something, then work your ass off to get it. Don't wait for it to fall into your lap, because it probably won't. Always invest in things that separates you from the ground, i.e. beds, shoes, cars, etc. Integrity. If you F something up, cop to it. Learn from it. Sometimes life just sucks. There will always be shit you have to do that you don't want to. Deal with it, suck it up, and get it done quick so you can move on to what you like to do. My philosophy is basically this, and this is something that I live by, and I always have, and I always will. Don't ever, for any reason, do anything to anyone for any reason, ever, no matter what, no matter where, or who you are with, or where you are going, or where you've been, ever, for any reason whatsoever. More for guys than girls. Jerk off before making any relationship decisions. Out in the working world, don't talk too much about yourself. As long as you play it off right, people will talk about themselves enough for two and thank you for the privilege. Not even remotely kidding. I mean this. If I knew this earlier in life, I would have saved myself such heartache and pain and regret. Cannot stress this enough. That after a certain point, studying to learn a new skill simply becomes procrastinating and is a product of fear. Fear of failing or fear of success. Certainly study, but also don't be afraid to actually do. Never complain about what you can fix. Be humble, be hopeful, be kind.